Alright, go up to File and click New. I'm going to be working in the Small Objects Millimeters template today. First command we're going to use is the Tube command. So go ahead and long press on the box and go down to Tube. I'm just going to use the top viewport here. I'm going to click, and I'm going to make it about that thick. And then in the perspective, front or right, I'm going to go up until it looks like, boom, there we go. Go ahead and right click in the perspective viewport and turn on shaded. So we have a tube. Next I have to select the top surface of this tube by holding Shift and Command and clicking that. So that should be the only thing that's selected there. And now I'm going to hold the Shift button while I scale that. Grab that gumball, make sure your gumball tool is on. If it's not, it's right here in the top of the screen. And hold the Shift button so it scales proportionally. And drag that until it looks like the profile for a cup of noodles. How's that look? Looks good to me. Next, I'm going to orbit to the bottom. And I'm going to use Shift and Command again. And I'm going to select the inside polysurface edge. So just the inside of the bottom of the tube is selected. And I'm going to go to Surface up here and click Planar Curves. And that will add a plane, a surface that connects that curve. So now my cup has a bottom. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some broth. So I'm going to hold Shift and Command again and select the inside poly surface of the top. So select that edge, and we're going to use the same command, Planar Curves. And then I'm going to select that curve, and I'm just going to use the gumball to just drop it down. And this is like our water line that's in there. So now it appears like I have a cup of noodles and it has a certain amount of water. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some noodles. So I'm going to use the curve tool here. And for this one, I'm just going to go inside our cup, and I'm going to just spam click here. Alright, this isn't going to be very fancy, but it'll work. Make some loops in here, make some squiggles, and keep them inside the bottom edge. And just kind of go everywhere. There we go. And eventually you can close that loop there. Now, what I've just made here is a big squiggly curve, but I need to turn this into a pipe. So I'm going to type pipe, or go up and find the pipe tool in the solid command. And I'm going to go to pipe, and I'm going to choose, I can choose the beginning diameter, which looks like about that, and the end, and the radius, and click, and enter, and enter, enter, enter. There we go. And what we've done is we've created a pipe. So we've taken our curve and we've made it three-dimensional so it looks like a tube. Alright, and now I'm going to move this up to the top. I can't see it because it's inside of my thing. It's inside of my cup. Now it needs to be scaled a little bit. So I'm going to use the Shift tool again and grab our gumball here. And I'm going to scale it so it appears like the noodles go to the edge. Just like that. Now you'll notice in the right viewport, they're a little too high. They're above the broth. So I need to bring them down so they intersect the broth. Let's intersect them by about half. So it should look like there's noodles floating at the top of the liquid. Just like that. Alright, now we need to make some chopsticks. The chopstick command is made using the box command. So just click on box here. And then let's go in the front viewport. And we are going to we're going to make a square. So hold the shift button so it scales proportionally. And let's make it about that big. And then let's go over here in the right viewport and let's stretch this out to, I don't know, about there. Okay, so this is we're going to click that and go to ZEA. And we want to see what this thing looks like. Now, right now, this looks like a chopstick blank, like it hasn't been whittled down at all. It hasn't been put in the jig and made it into an actual chopstick. So if we hold Shift and Command, we're going to select the end surface, and then hold Shift here and bring the inside in so it actually looks like the profile for a chopstick. Okay, if you want, you can add another feature here. We're going to hold Shift and Command again, and we're going to select this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. Whoops. Let's hold the command here. Whoops. I want the edge, and the edge, and the edge, and the edge. There you go. And now we're going to go to chamfer. We're going to go to chamfer edge here, and it gives you a little preview of what it's going to look like. 0.25 for the scale that I drew it on is actually perfect. Alright, it gives you a little preview here of how much it's going to take off. And then you can see here that softens the edge, and that's what we did with our Japanese chopstick jig when we used the chamfer jig. Okay, you're going to need 2 of these, so go ahead and click that one and hold the Option button and then just move the gumball over. And then we want these to be approximately parallel, so grab this and rotate that in just a little bit. There we go. That looks good. Let's move it just a little bit. There you go. Alright, we've got a couple different options here. We can take these and we can use the gumball and, well, you know what? Let's just set these on top. We're going to set these right on top here. And then go to the right viewport and move them back. And then we'll go to the top viewport and move them like that. And let's use the front here to make sure they look like they're actually touching. Alright, and so here we have a cup of noodles. One of the last things that I want to do is I want to color it. So we're going to select this color here. We're going to go in the perspective viewport. Let's turn on rendered. And we're going to color our cup first. So go ahead and select the cup, and then in the properties objects here, click the toothpaste here. That's the materials. Now if you don't see that there, you might have to click on this and go down to materials, which is right in this area. Sorry, it's a little off camera here. There's the materials. You can turn that on. Alright, but I have mine here. So we're going to click that and go to a default material. And plaster is fine. It doesn't matter what it's called. It just matters how it looks. Next, we're going to do a nice orange color for our cup. There we go. So now our cup is orange. And I know the whole cup isn't orange. If you wanted to put a line in there and split it, you could do that. Alright, next let's take our chopsticks. So let's hold that and shift, and let's use another default material. Plaster's fine as well. And let's find brown. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to use one of these in the template here below. Let's use that. That looks like a better brown. Okay, that looks good. Looks like wood. Next, let's go grab the surface here for our broth. Let's use a default material again. I'll use something like plastic so it has an option for reflectivity and transparency. We're going to do some brown here as well. So let's go to that same kind of brown there. And then let's do our reflectivity. Let's go down a little bit. And our transparency, let's bring that up just a little bit and mix that up till it looks like you got some broth. Here you can actually see through it, so I don't know if I want that as much. So let's, oh, transparency would be down. There you go. So a nice broth that you can still see a little bit through. I'll go full screen here, by the way. And then let's take our noodle. And for our noodle, let's go one more material here. I'll go plastic. And I'll change this one to a light yellow maybe. I'm not sure what color looks good here. Sure, let's just go with that. That looks good. Alright, there's our cup. Now, just for fun, a couple of the other models I've made for other classes here. Drag one of these in. In this example, I took and I made a curve here. This is all grouped together. But all I did is I made, with the curve tool, I made a line that goes up and over. And then I just copied a bunch of them. And I took my two chopsticks and I backed them off. And I made it look like the chopstick goes underneath it. So this one appears like it's picking up some noodles and getting ready to eat. I didn't color all this all the way, but there's another idea for you that will make it look more interesting. So this is what we're going for. Something like this. You can try to put some text on the side. You can turn your shadows on. You can alter this. Put some more noodles in there. Make a hand holding the chopsticks. Something like that.